Hey everybody, we are back. Welcome to season two of Truth Talk. That's right. So to take me into season two, I have not talked with this gentleman in over 2 years. That's right. Gee, I'm looking at you. It's been over 2 years. I check in on him every now and again just to see how he's doing. But I am so super excited not only to share some space with this beautiful human being. I missed you so much. G, welcome. You have truths to tell, you say.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, well, hi everybody. I'm not logged in here, so I have no idea how many people is there. This platform is new to me, and I'm old, so I don't know how to work it. But
No worries. Um,
yeah,
if you're open to questions or there's something that somebody wants to say, I'm able to bring the comment right on the screen so you can see it. It'll just
please,
be
yeah,
right there. Okay.
yeah, please do so. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here. Like I was as I was telling you before, I was very touched when you reached out to me, and because I don't know, like I used to be part of the witchy community since 2015 to 2017
Yeah.
mostly, and I'm a really shitty friend, so I never like reach out to my friends.
You're
Yeah,
no. You're just
I mean,
going through shit. It's okay.
yeah, I mean, no, but I think like I've been doing like a lot of soul searching, and like or like evaluating like how I am actually like in the world, because you have like sometimes like a fantasy like a fantasy yourself,
Mhm.
and then you have to like realize that sometimes that is a different person on how you really are or how you really act, so you can be like um oh, I'm a really like good friend, I always keep in touch, and then at the end of the day when you actually see the receipts, you're like, oh, I never answer any texts. So, and it's fine, I mean, it's not like you're a horrible person because of that, but it's like, yeah, I'm like, truths have to be said. And I see Rowan like says, I have a question, where's my alimony? I'll
Yeah.
have to use the Google Translator for that.
Okay,
um
alimony is something that when you get divorced, you have to pay your ex-spouse for a monthly stipend.
I
It's
mean,
like
but
child support.
honey, we never formalized something. I mean, I know we talked like long and long that I could be your sugar daddy, but I'm not rich enough yet.
Not rich enough. There is no
No,
alimony for you, Rowan. There's none.
no, not
Zero.
yet.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Okay, so where did you go? Where did you go? I know that I went to try to do a 365. I ended up doing it for 6 months. I got so tired of my own damn voice. So tired. Like I did it for 6 solid months. And it got to the
Yeah,
point where it's like, hi, Ravenflower, I have a headache. I gotta go by.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, no, I get it. I mean, like burnout can happen. Like I was not really burnt out where well, I used to have a YouTube channel that was called Scientist Witch. I was at the time in my life that I was doing my PhD. Um, And I have a lot of back and forth with the channel because I used to spend a lot of time abroad in Germany and then come back to Chile, where I'm originally from. So
you mean it's
it's
not
not,
Brazil?
no, never has been Brazil. I'm not spicy enough to be a
I mean,
Brazilian.
I haven't
And
listened.
yeah, and yeah, so that was a thing which really didn't allow me to like keep the channel going because I have to work a lot there. And then when I came back at the end of 2015 or the beginning of 2018, I was full on PhD thesis, and
Yeah.
I had that year to finish everything because I was running out of funding, so, and funding not only implies funding to do your experiments, but also means funding to live, like your salary. So I had to finish that, and it was 2018 was a great year, but it was also a crazy year in terms of work.
Mhm.
I was doing a lot of teaching, I was doing a lot of my actual work at the university. So, and at the end of the year, I was able finally to finish my PhD, which it was somewhat on time. So, but it was a lot of work. Like I was really, and it was all it was the only thing I was really thinking about and talking about and like living, you know. And when I finished that, tried to enter myself in like the actual workforce of the country. I didn't want to keep being part of the academic world. I found out over the years that I didn't enjoy it really much.
Okay.
So, and I started like focusing all my energy in finding a job, you know, finishing everything I had to finish at the university to be able to move on to a new job. And at the I would say mid 2019, I found a job in the pharmaceutical industry,
Mm-hmm.
which led me to then last year, let's say September, to be able to find another job that I liked way, way more. And now I'm like working on that, which is I work like as a scientific advisor in the pharmaceutical industry. So I'm really, really happy in that sense, but that really like took me out of the YouTube world. Also, I thought that, well, my content was all over the place. Usually, you know, I didn't have like really like clear concepts that I wanted to do. And I know like nobody cared, but I did care, you know, so, and I didn't think like I was really achieving anything, or it wasn't, um, I don't know, I didn't feel like the fruits of my job, you know. I don't know, that like the I wasn't harvesting anything from that, you know. It
Right.
was fun, I was keeping in touch with you guys, but it become more like a way to be with my friends and online, and not like actually making content. And
Yeah.
making content is a lot of work, as you know. So if it's not really rewarding for you,
Yeah.
is it doesn't really make sense, or it's so much work that it doesn't make sense for you to spend so much energy in that it's not rewarding. And I felt like I wasn't achieving what I wanted.
Right.
So
Right.
and well, then when I found my let's say pharmaceutical job, I closed my channel, I private everything, not because I was unhappy with what I had, but mostly because pharmaceutical companies are international. You usually have contact with people
Mhm.
all over the world, you know. I do have work contact with people in the United States.
Mhm.
And I didn't want it to be like to put myself in any position that it could be like complicated for me, especially because like I was really, really focused on like achieving things, you know, in the job environment or work environment.
Mhm.
So, and also because if I was like, or if I were super committed with the content, you know, and I felt so proud of my content, I would have kept it. But I wasn't feeling proud of my content or feeling connected with my content. So I was like, yeah, well, let's just private all of this. And yeah, so, and also, I need, maybe a lot of people can relate to this, or maybe not. But when I was going through the process of the finding a job, you know, my finances were hugely damaged. I was working at the university, but since didn't have like a regular position, I was working
Mhm.
for few like very little money.
Right.
So I got like I had like a horrible reactive depression to that. And just like came like I came through these, well, I came through that because with therapy and medication, stuff like that. And finally everything concluded when I actually find a job, and I had the means again to support myself comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that took a lot of evaluating myself, and also trying to I've never been depressed before. So
Mhm.
it was very new to me. It was very hard for me to identify. And I was talking to a friend one day, and who is a physician. And he was like, I think you're depressed. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm depressed. I'm like, no, 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 but I think like you're clinically depressed. It's like, that's what we're playing this year. So I was like, yeah, well, maybe. So, and it was starting to affect my performance, not only in my job. I was starting a new relationship at the time,
Mhm.
which is still going, but at the time was new. So it was putting a lot of pressure on me, and I wasn't really being myself. I was awful. I was so clingy, like so. I was always the time so angry because, of course, I cannot be like a normal depressed people that in I don't know suffering. I had to be angry and extra every day, all day.
That's how you
Yes,
roll. You got to be extra. It's okay.
yes,
I love that about you. I love that
yeah.
about
So and yeah, and I realized that it was like you know everybody like process trauma and I don't know sadness and everything in different ways, and I process a lot of things through rage, not through pain or or through
you.
sorrow or any of those like
Uh-huh.
being sad feelings. I wasn't down. I'm like a really active person, so I was always like angry, and it sucks living a life like that. It's not fun. So in
So,
that sense, it was really good for me, like to be able to treat myself. Luckily, my country have a health system that allows people with a lot of diseases, including depression, to treat themselves for free or like mostly free. So because I was also like in this like crossroads, like yeah, I am depressed and I want to do something about it to treat myself, but therapy is super expensive, and going to a psychiatrist for medication, and the medication is expensive.
yeah.
So but luckily, like in the country we have like this state program when if a certified doctor, which is pretty much any doctor, um, diagnose you with this type of disease or mental illness, you can get your treatment for free or mostly free. So that really, really helped me.
That's
So
amazing.
because I was able to get treatment and to get therapy and to pull myself out of that, and that was also very good for me and my environment, of course, because you suffer, but your
Mhm.
environment suffers too. And
The people around you, the people around you also suffer from that. A lot of people with depression don't realize how much of a toll it affects your family, your environment, your job, your friendships, all of these things. Everybody's getting a little chunk sort of taken out of them. And you're like, you're not even, you're completely oblivious to what's
yeah,
really happening. You're like, oh, I am just sad or I am just angry. And you don't want to, because the pride in you is like, well, no, I'm like, I can get it together. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just in a bad mood.
yeah,
I'm just
especially
in a bad
because of I thought I have so much tools. I thought I had so many tools in my like toolkit or tool belt or I don't know
mood.
for like spiritually calm myself and being
Yeah,
in contact with myself, but but they weren't working because it's not a thing of wanting. Sometimes it's like an actual illness. It's like you can be, I don't know, you can be sick or of anything, and it's not just willpower. Like you really need help sometimes.
yeah,
And I realized that it was something that was out of my reach, and I was really, really happy that now I'm really happy that I was able to get help and pull myself out of that, because I had lost completely my, we say it here like hedonic capacity. I don't know if that translates to English.
mhm,
So I was
yeah.
unable to enjoy anything, like anything. Everything was just like, I don't know, like anything. Like everything was
It's just
just like,
monitoring. You were just like,
yeah, and I was able to like pull every activity or every interaction into the darkness, where everything was wrong, and I was feeling really attacked all the time, and I do not react well to attack, so I usually just lash out,
yeah,
and I pride myself of being able to choose my battles, but I didn't have my ability at 100 at that time also. So
yeah,
yeah, so I'm really happy that I went through that, and of course that it was a thing that it was a reactive depression. So it means that it was due to some situation that you're going through in your life at the moment. And
mhm,
when that situation ends, usually your depression gets better and better. So I was able to get help through the process. My situation got better, and I didn't have like the burden of people that actually had to live with that all the time because they can not do anything about it. Because it is very real. And so yeah, so that actually gave me a lot of humility in that sense, because I was feeling always very capable of doing things,
mhm,
or
mhm,
pulling myself out of things or putting myself in a
mhm.
good place. Sorry. But that and that was very humbling because I was, oh, now I see.
Yeah.
and made
See
me like,
broader picture. You can see big picture now, and you'd be like, "Oh, got it." Yeah,
yeah,
and
and it makes it,
anger can be like a drug. Anger for me, this was something
yeah,
that I did. I would go to anger real quick because I didn't want to deal with crap, and it's so easy to be angry. It really is so easy, and it can be a bit of a high, and then you're not
yeah,
really understanding also our our brains don't function very well. They don't deal with reasoning very well when you're angry. Read something in regards to when you're angry or you're mad, your your thought process, your IQ points actually go down. Believe it or not, I don't know if
probably.
that's a real thing,
I
but
don't know. I haven't read the research, but probably yeah, because I mean, in the practice, like you are not able to make as good at decisions or react as good as you used to be, or as you used to be able to. And now, as I was telling you, like it gave me a lot of humility because it made me see myself as
mhm,
also like when I was maybe like not actively but maybe passively, in my head judging other people for not being able to push through or to get over something in the same way I was able to, you know.
right,
And in that sense, it was like, well, it was very easy for me to judge, it was very easy for me to say, oh, yeah, like you have to push through, you have to do this, you have to do that. And then when you are in their shoes and maybe also like in a very mild um, version of what they're living, you realize that it's very different when you're living it. Here we have a saying like that says something like, it's different when you play the guitar. It's like,
oh, I
it's,
like
it's, it's, it's it's very like, yeah, so it's very easy to criticize other people, but when you are living through it and when you are doing it, it's you see it in another perspective. So I think that gave me a lot of humility. And also I'm really happy for that, because I really need some like humility pills all the time, because like,
it.
yeah.
Okay, what is your Earth sign, moon, and rising? Do you know?
Yes, well, my sun sign is, I'm a Taurus.
Yeah.
I think I have them confused, my rising and my moon, but one of them is a Leo. I think my ascendant, which is rising, yeah, is a
Okay.
Leo, and the other one I think is a Cancer.
Okay. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I was getting a little bit of Scorpio vibes from you, but I think that's
Oh,
the
maybe
lead.
it is a Scorpio, the moon sign. I don't remember, but I haven't seen my astral chart in a long time.
Long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
How I know we were talking a little bit before the chat. So when you were going through this, it kind of changed the way you even looked. Do you still identify as a witch?
Not really. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't identify as anything pretty much, and
Mhm.
I mean, I was talking about this with a friend, and well, this gives into a topic that I was talking about you in private. That It's very funny to me when people like when they're doing like something that is live or like public. It's like, well, as we talked in private, like, yeah, bitch, we knew you did like a reading before. So the that I this year I adopted like, two kittens, and sadly one of them passed away recently in a very traumatic accident here at home. So it was awful. I mean, and it made me. I suffered a lot because, well, it was my baby, of course. Like, I mean, I have so much love for life, so much respect for life in all
Mhm.
forms, and and since he was here at home, of course I felt like it was an accident, but I felt a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So, and it was very hard for me to like come to terms that although I was responsible, it was not necessarily my fault, like I'm working on that. And because and my I talking about this with a friend, she told me like, "Oh, remember when you were like all like immersed in this witchy world?" And she was like, "Yeah, I really like that version of you." And I was like, "Yeah, I really like that version of myself too." But at some point, uh, and when life came in the way, let's say, when let's like real life, paying your bills, like let's say like terminal, like I don't know if it's that. No, it's not.
Adulting. When you have to adult.
yeah, like adulting, or like the earth life, like paying your bills, having a job, having to go to the supermarket and pay for your food, or things like so basic that everybody does.
Yeah.
And I was not achieving everything I wanted in the times I wanted. I'm a huge perfectionist, and I am really hard on myself in that sense, which is something that I'm actually working on right now at the moment. And um, I gave like my whole life gave priority to that. I
Mhm.
don't think I you never cut your spiritual ties with your beliefs completely,
Yeah.
because but I think you can get very burnout, and also you can get very I don't know, like go very away from that, go away from that part of your
Mhm.
life, because you're focusing on more earthly things. And
Yeah.
in that sense, I was completely consumed
Consume.
with those tasks. And I have been consumed with those tasks for the last 2 or 3 years, I would say.
Hmm.
That has some good stuff, some good like results, of course.
Hmm.
For example, I achieved like a lot of things that I wanted to achieve at the time when I lived in the small apartment downtown, doing my videos and like going to university and doing tarot readings like online or in person. And and now, like, I for example, I don't do it as much because it's a lot of work, and I don't need it, because at that time I needed like all that money from the tarot readings and stuff like that to like support myself. I don't need it anymore, so now I do them from time to time, and if I don't, it's fine. If somebody asks for me to do it, I do it, but I didn't have like the motivation to as I used to have it before, because I needed it before. And
Right.
also, like, I was caught in a witchy type of practice that was very time consuming and very not it was not mm, really not you didn't have like a complete relationship with the type of life I lived. So for example, when you live in a small apartment in a big city, as I do, well, now I live in a bigger apartment, but still you live in a big city. There is no lots of space. I do not have the luxury of having like a witchy room with a lot of herbs and a lot of stuff, so and that is what I was influenced at the beginning of my witchy path.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that because of course it's cute, it's so cute to have like a room with a cabin with all of the herbs. I remember, I
Like
think
backing up, he's talking about me. I
yeah.
got a whole
No,
room,
no, but
like a whole
yeah,
room.
yeah, I know. Like, I don't know your current room, but I know your old room. I remember Sunshine Morning Ray, I think she was called,
Oh
or she's
yeah,
called.
she
She has
has a
like
whole
a
room.
cabin.
I have a whole room to myself. Like yeah.
Yeah, I
I have a
remember
whole
she had like a
room.
cabin, and I used to watch Tequila, which has like an amazing like gothic inspired witchy room, where it's like
Yeah.
goals. I'm never that committed to an aesthetic, but it's like I loved it, and I'm a Taurus. I'm going to blame my sun sign, and I like nice things. I like material things.
Yeah.
And it was a great way to connect spiritually through material things. But it don't really make sense for my reality. It really makes sense for my times, or for what I wanted to do. Because having an altar in a one bedroom apartment, it's really a space that you cannot waste if, having an altar, because you don't have space for anything. So, and in that sense, I started to transforming my practice to a more simple way of doing things.
Hmm.
Um, which trying to do it as meaningfully and as present and with the same intent, and but it wasn't as fun, you know
Yeah. Okay.
it wasn't as fun, it wasn't as pretty, it wasn't as flashy. And of course nobody cared, because I was doing it by myself, but I cared. And so that also like took away a little bit of the motivation. I
Mhm.
felt more muggle in that sense. It's like I felt more basic bitch, lighting
Yeah.
a candle and having a crystal.
Yeah.
So, which I still am, and maybe that is who I am. I don't know,
Here's
but
the thing. Here's
so
the
that
thing.
took me away a little bit of the of my
No,
of my path.
all of us have different practices. And like I just started doing spell kits in my shop. And I had to write out a whole thing that said, look, I can give you the ingredients. Anybody can get, you can get the ingredients from anywhere, but it's really
Yeah.
about your intention, your geographical location, your, thought process and your energy, more so than all that other stuff. The stuff is just the stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, I can give you those things. And yes, they are ingredients, but in order to activate those ingredients, that comes from you. That comes from you. So when you have an altar and it's a tiny little altar, it doesn't matter what's really on that altar. What energy are you really putting into it? Now, you and I had connected a long time ago with the deity Bast or Basset.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah. So I really feel like that deity aesthetic is still your thing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't see it as much now. I mean, I see the energy in my present in my life
Well,
the
especially
same way.
liking the finer things. Liking those finer things, that's
Yeah.
all about
Oh my God.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel I feel her presence in my life like a lot, but not as corporeal maybe as I used to feel it. Represented as an actual deity, because I think also like my the cosmovision of life for me has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not changed, but like I don't know. Like I've tried to I'm so good studying, and like I am doing a lot of my decisions rationally. So for me, it's very easy to say like, oh, I need that and that and that. So okay, let's see. Like, okay, I need that. So that is the deity I need to, you know,
Right.
worship or connect to or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not actually. I don't think it's the best. I mean, you do you, but I don't think it's the best way for me to connect, because it's not like a spiritual connection. It's more of a mind connection. It's a too
Mm-hmm.
conscious of a connection. It's too convenient in some way also. So it's not a spiritual decision or an emotional decision. It's just a, I don't know, like a conscious decision of, oh yeah, I'm going to do this because it's more convenient to me. So in that
Yeah.
sense, I'm trying to like keep the names a little bit more out of the playground, and play a little bit more with what I feel at the
Mm-hmm.
moment, what I want to connect. I the I have a boyfriend for 2 years now, and his dad is a Christian pastor. I don't know if that translates correctly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's great. Yeah, he's great actually. No, it's not a thing. He's great. We have a great relationship. He never like push his religion into me or anybody. But I remember when we met the first time, he asked me like, "What do you believe in?"
Uh-huh.
And I felt very uncomfortable first of all.
I bet.
And
Yeah, I bet.
yeah, yeah. Well,
I just put my foot in my mouth. I don't know. I don't know what I
yeah,
believe anymore.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, something like he's very he's very special. He's very like he just asked, and I think that's fine. It's part of his charm. But
Mm-hmm.
there's like an innocence of him, like this, like he doesn't realize sometimes that he's asking something that is like he shouldn't ask.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, but I answered him like, I don't know, like I feel there is something out there. I don't know how it's called. I don't know how to. I don't know what's its role in my life, but I
Mm-hmm.
like to connect with it from time to time, and give meaning to what happens to me and what is my path. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I cannot put a name on it. And but
Right.
I can't. But I told you, I can't tell you like I grew up in a Catholic household, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not. I do not perceive it as the God that the Bible says,
Right.
because I do not perceive it as such human. I do not because I think of course everybody is entitled of to believe whatever they want, and I think that's wonderful. But in my personal perception, like I don't perceive like the energy of divinity, or spirituality such human like. I perceive it so much more shapeless and so much more universal, maybe in that sense. I don't perceive it as conscious as I was raised with a Catholic belief, where
Mm-hmm.
like God has an agenda. But I don't perceive it as that. I don't perceive that the spirituality or spiritual forces or spiritual whatever are, have agendas. That's why I do not believe in hell. I do not believe in heaven. I believe
Mm-hmm.
in something after death. But I don't know, because I really don't know. I mean, I can't believe in something like now, and how I used to believe in stuff, and feel that is what it represents the most, what I feel and what I think it is, but I would never know, certainly, nobody would
Right.
never know. And I think maybe that's also like a thing of me, that I lack the virtue of faith, of, let's say, like this blind faith, that is like, hi.
There's coming.
Hello. Yeah, so
How are
I
you?
think good. And you, I love your, I don't know how it's called, faux.
No, it's a straight up
It's
mohawk.
straight
Oh,
up dog.
mohawk. Okay, yeah, love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes. So, oh, I love your shirt too. It's like a jack, but like a cool jack, or like a king, king of
No,
It's a Joker,
Joker.
a
but
joker.
it's for Lucky. Yeah,
It's a lucky Joker.
yeah.
He's joking
I
around.
like. The puns.
Mm.
I really like it. Yeah, I'm dressing way more plain now. Like, I think the quarantine, like lockdown, we are locked down here at the moment, and
Yeah.
lockdown is like, it's like really really made me plain.
Talk
Um,
about that, because in when we were talking just in chatting, the weeks before setting this up, you're like, wait a minute, you're working? I'm like, yep, I'm going to work every single day. I
yeah,
have been working nonstop through this whole pandemic, blah blah.
through
Um,
this
yeah,
pandemic, like,
this whole thing, this whole thing,
uh,
thing. Yeah, but so
yeah,
are you? You're not. You're
I'm working
in.
from, yeah, well, I'm in my office. Like, this is my workspace. I work from home. I have like a room designed to be my office now, and I've worked from home since the start of the global pandemic, and the yeah. So since my work is very very tight with the healthcare professionals, I used to have to go to a lot of meetings in the hospitals and clinics, and now of course we cannot do that, and that actually makes me very very happy to be able to work from home.
Mhm.
It can get also very boring,
You can.
and and very boring. But I used to love working from home. I since I started working in the industry, I would be able to take some remote work days,
Mhm.
so, and I loved like when I was able to get like one day a week, to work from home, because it was a choice. Now, since it's not a
Yeah.
choice, it's like so boring, and I like, oh my god, I want to go out and and see my work, my work colleagues. Like, no, I don't want to see my work colleagues. I actually just want to go out,
The other
and see other things and grab a coffee. Like, an I want an overpriced Starbucks coffee from time to time, just so I don't have to make my own. And I want to like go to a place and have to have lunch and say, oh, I want to ask for that, and then go out really disappointed because it was so expensive and so bad. But it was like really life, and now I have nothing of that. And we were in actually a very good place as a country in December and January.
It's just so true. It's just like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm going to lunch with the ladies today. It's just like, truly, I'm going to pay overpriced for this stupid salad that I didn't want to
yeah,
eat now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like, but I miss the frivolity. Is that a word in English?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I miss the frivolity of that. I miss the emptiness and no meaning at all of those activities, because it's part of the balance of your life. Like,
It is.
having
Yeah.
like very meaningful moments with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, but also have very like empty surface level moments with other people, which distract you for your real life issues or problems or things you're going through. And I think the most thing that also the thing I miss the most is that, because you never disconnect, and I used to be very active. Well, I like to, sorry, I like to call myself self like a really active person,
Mhm.
but and this is when the fantasy me and the real me comes into play, because I'm not active anymore. It's like, the only thing I do for my, let's say, um, free time, it's watching YouTube videos and like lay in bed or lay in the couch or lay in the floor, lay in any surface, and like watch YouTube videos until I fall asleep, and then I woke up the next day and like do my job, and then it's like, okay, I have to cook. Like it's like an endless routine, and yeah, but it is what it is at the same
these
time.
these comments
So
are cracking me up. These comments are cracking me up. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. You
yeah,
got a big.
sure.
I get a takeover for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Well, you are the understudy host of the show.
Yeah.
Yes. By
Well,
the way, I'm loving. Sorry.
what's that? Go ahead.
No, no, I'm loving this like Jack Sparrow styled braids in your beard. I think they're amazing. They're so long. How long did it take you to like grow those?
They used to be much longer. I used to actually be able to zip up my pants and accidentally, if I looked down, I could get my beard
Ah,
caught in the
like
zipper.
a fly accident. Oh my God.
Yes, exactly. It was bad. It hurt your neck.
Yeah, for sure. And also like the beard hair is so sensitive. Like when you pull it, it's like so sensitive. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. I would love to be able to pull it off.
I've
But
lost about 2/3 of my beard since I had bypass and lost 2/3 of my hair. So
Yeah.
it's much thinner than it ever was. Look, you get the witch back.
I had to pee.
yeah,
There was drinking. I had to pee. It hit me. It hit me
you're
hard.
you're really fast. I mean, really, really fast. Like I'm impressed. So yeah. Well, but
Under
I was
pressure.
telling.
Under pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. Like I was telling you about like that, like quarantine is like being. I think it's the same or mostly the same for everybody, because we are being stripped of the same experiences mostly, and a lot of people, of course, here in the country are still working as essential workers, and we had like an actual like let's say back to normal um, thing, type of living in during the summer, which is December to February here, and but now it's not anymore because, of course, and I'm not going to.
That's
Nobody's listening
just
to you
crazy to think
guys.
about.
Well, they're
What?
down at the equator.
I know they're down at the equator. You're down at the equator, so that you're
Yeah, and now I mean now we
summer
are
and
starting
they're
autumn.
falling winter. It's a flip. It's a
Yes,
flip.
it's the complete opposite. When you were in like winter, we were in summer. So yeah. So well, I don't want to get political, but the government make the great choices of giving people like vacation permits.
Really?
You get a permit.
A permit?
I want permission.
I'll take my own permission.
I'm
Oh,
retired.
you don't want it because after the vacation permits, now we're worse than we were in like ever, like worse than ever. Like we've never been as bad as we are now.
Oh no.
So yeah, so that's why we are in lockdown again because I always been working from home, but the country was not in lockdown all the time. So I
Okay.
was able to go out on the weekends and maybe grab some lunch in another place, So that was fun. And but now we are in like strict lockdown because of the all the vacation permits, which were I don't know 4 million, which for a country
Oh,
this size is like a lot.
whoa.
So and now like a lot of people is coming back with another variants of the virus. So it's
Mm-mm.
it's a mess. So we're not going into that because it's too depressing for everybody because everybody is yeah everybody is in the same position, but yeah, I mean I'm lucky enough that I live comfortably in I have enough space, I can work and separate my work to my, let's say, personal life in my own place. I live with my boyfriend, so I'm not alone all day, and I'm able to talk with my family and nobody is sick, everybody's healthy. So in that sense, I feel like I'm really lucky. I've been able to support myself. My family is being able to support themselves because there's a lot of job, losses in a lot of firings during the pandemic because a lot of jobs are like depend on uh, clients, restaurants and things like that. So small
Yeah.
businesses. So and even big companies that are cutting down the the head counts because of they don't have enough resources now.
Oh,
So in that way, I'm very very lucky and fortunate that I don't have to worry about those things, and I have to worry that I don't get my Starbucks from now and from time to time. So like in that sense, like I'm lucky.
you're lucky. You're
Yeah,
lucky. Yeah, man. So is this your country's second lockdown then? Kind of? Sort of?
yeah, second,
Second.
yeah,
Okay. We've had one big strong lockdown and then it's been like a phase restart. So
yeah.
we are
Here
in
it was.
phase three now out of four phases. So we're looking to go into the fourth phase, but there has been a spike in phase three for Washington State, but it's not like it was. So our numbers weren't like they were in the summertime. In the summertime, it was really bad. In May, June, July, it was pretty rough. So I felt bad because our youngest daughter celebrated her 21st birthday during lockdown. It was
Yeah,
bad. We had
yeah,
friends came to the driveway to do a shot with her. And she was up on the porch. It was pitiful. It was pitiful. Poor thing. Feel so bad for her.
yeah. Poor thing. But I mean, yeah. At least she's old enough, to like maybe understand like at some point that is like just a tragedy that's happening. Yeah. Oh,
No, the
it's
I
not
frontal
don't blame it.
the frontal lobe is not developed.
not yet. She's still a teenager at heart. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I look at myself when I was 21, which was 10 years ago. I'm 31 now, and
Welcome
I
to
was
adulthood.
yeah, and I was a mess. I was a huge mess, running on around the world, like trying to find myself and not finding it. It's like, yes, you're not going to find it outside. So Snow the Witch is no orchid.
Yes, she's changed her name.
Yeah, I recognize um,
The beauty. Yeah, the beauty that
yeah, the
yeah.
beauty, the beauty, the grace, in the picture. Yeah, what's my favorite way to entertain myself during lockdown? Um, I do a lot of Zoom calls with my friends.
And
Some of them,
TikTok.
yeah. I watch a lot of TikTok, but I don't really count that as entertainment. I count that as like turning off my mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's starting like scrolling to TikTok, and then it's like, oh my god, 2 hours have passed. You know.
Yes, and that's the thing. Okay, so Noah and Snow is in the chat, and Bear is right here. So if you send me a TikTok video, there are times that I will not open it because I know that if I open that TikTok video, I'm going to have to watch four before I can get out of that app. That's just
Four is
how
like a really sensible number. Like it's like entering a wormhole.
I
You
like.
know.
It's just like you got to be real cautious. I'm like, do I have time to even watch this video because I know I'm going to be romanced. I'm going to be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to
You
watch
know what?
other ones. I,
Yeah.
I can't.
I do a lot of this. I do a lot of some Zoom calls with my friends, and we talk, we drink. I started watching Drag Race again because I was really burned out of Drag Race too. So
Yeah.
I stopped watching after season 11. So now this past month, this past weeks actually, I caught up with season 12, All Stars 5, and
Oh
season
my
13.
gosh.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so because I wasn't watching anything because it was, well, Drag Race is another topic, but they were like releasing too much content. I mean, I need some time to miss you, darling.
I
Like,
need some time to miss you. That is a good thing. You know, I about peed myself. On my Instagram, I had posted something or whatever, and it said RuPaul's Drag Race is started following you. I'm like, like I freaked out.
that
I
is
freaked out.
amazing. Yeah, and also very scary.
I know. I'm like, don't look at me. I'm like, Ru, don't look at me.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I'm
like
looking at
I like watch myself in my PJs, watching Drag Race and reading the looks of the queens is like, and me looking like a hot mess. So I'm really
hot
like that.
mess. I'm like,
I,
isn't
I,
he even
I'm
like
really glad they have no idea who I am.
I
Yeah.
know.
Rowan asks, "What's your beauty routine other than virginal blood?" Oof. Well, my beauty routine, I actually was very, very careful with my skin and everything like that before, and
Mhm.
now I slap a bit of moisturizer every day, and that would be it. I
Mhm.
have to have get more sun. And I know now, like in this lighting, I look like with a skin tone like pretty decent, but actually I'm pale as a ghost right now. So yeah, no, not a thing. And also, I have to go back to exercise because I've gained 20 pounds.
Shut up. This one too.
I've gained 20 pounds. Like I fit in just one of my pants, and fit is a stretch.
Oh
You
no.
know?
Oh,
Yes.
If
COVID.
you're at home, pants are optional.
Pants are optional at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
You can't
But
even
I have
tell
to.
on video.
Yeah, I have to go out from time to time. To go to the supermarket, and I have to wear something. And today I went to the supermarket, and I was doing like a line because like there's lines everywhere, so there's not so much people inside, and there was like a window next to me, and I like just glanced and saw myself on the side, and I was like, oh my fucking god, I'm going to. Oh no, this has to change. But then I came home and stuffed my face with cookies. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
didn't
I
work
feel
out.
you.
I love a
It,
good cookie.
I know. You went to the
yeah,
cookie shop the other day. You're like, what
There was
happened to
none.
all these cookies? I'm in the other room.
My
I'm like,
dang daughter
what?
took all the class
What
cookies.
other cookies? And I said, you only gave me the peanut butter one. I think you gave me 2 peanut butter cookies. He's like, there was cookies in this jar. Like, he's all upset
where
about it.
are the cookies?
I don't like it wasn't me. I didn't know. He's like upset.
Yeah.
Did you find more cookies? Do I need to
No, I
make
thought
some
about
cookies?
making some
Okay,
cookies.
well maybe you should do
I
that.
know how to cook
Okay.
a
All right,
cookie.
you got another one. Jennifer Knighton is asking, how
Naiden. Oh my god, I read it. Kington.
you bet
My English. Sorry, Jennifer. Jennifer Naiden. Sorry.
it's okay. How has your spiritual path changed? Ooh, changed the most since COVID.
Okay, so well, I was very, very
Rowan, you're cracking me up. Rowan says he digs a dad bod though. That's what he said.
yeah. I mean, we'll
Woo,
see. I will
no,
send you pictures.
no pictures, no thirst
Kidding,
pictures.
kidding, kidding, kidding. Um, I well, I was very I don't know, far away, far removed for my spiritual practice from the last years, and now I think it's been very difficult for me to like catch up. I mean, I have no advice in that regard because I've been like a victim and also like the villain of myself in that sense, because
Victim and a villain of
because
yourself.
I
That
don't know if
should be
that
good.
okay,
You're giving me gold right now. No, I'm
I
gonna
will bill
hashtag that shit and stick it
I
on a
will bill you I will bill you my my copyrights. And yeah, but I have no advice, but the only thing I can say is like give yourself a break.
yeah.
It's like give yourself a break in everything think you need to at the moment, because there's so many things you have to go through quarantine. Nobody knows actually what everybody's going through in their day-to-day life, in their personal life. So don't pressure yourself and try to be flexible and adapt. So if you
Yeah.
need to do things more simple, maybe it's not a good thing for you. Maybe if you need to reconnect and have the time, maybe you do now have the time to work in something spiritually that you like.
Right.
Also do it. For me, and I try to just like give myself a break. Now I'm trying to work in my therapy, because I'm regularly I'm in therapy. Although like sometimes nothing happen, but I really like to like in a path of self-improvement. And in quarantine, a lot of not so nice things about oneself comes to light. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
so, and I've been like very, very irritable. Is that a word? No.
Readable?
Irritable, like a very let me see.
Open.
um
Like kind of like
Very,
kind of thing. You're just trying to
yeah.
you said it down.
I,
Um
I, I've been
no.
in a very but never very, very bad. Hello,
It happens.
are we back?
Okay, you cut out there. You cut out.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I've been like in a, like say, permanent like cranky mood. So that makes me be less patient with people around me, and really more focused on controlling things. I like I've discovered that, I don't know, keeping the house clean, all the dishes clean all the time, everything tucked away, really has give me a sense of control and help me be in peace. But at the same time, if you go too hard on that, you're starting putting stress on the people around you, because not all the time everything can be clean and tidy as you want. So I think I've tried to like give myself a break in those aspects, because at the end of the day, although sometimes we forget, the
Mhm.
most important thing is to have like a safe, healthy, happy as possible environment at home. So
Gotcha.
sometimes that means like the home is a little bit messier, and sometimes that means that you don't meditate as much, and sometimes that can mean a lot of things. So I think it's like, I don't know, I would say just analyze what is the ways when you can feel more comfortable and happy and wholesome, and just do that.
Just
And
take
if
yourself
you're,
off the hook. Don't
yeah,
pressure yourself so much about everything. Now, I know for me and for some others that the majority of our lockdown happened during winter for us. So it was a very natural process to do, it's like forced shadow work. And
yeah,
when it's sunny outside, and I have a garden, so I'm able to get out there and be on my front porch and watch nature and do all other stuff. But in the winter, it's like, what am I doing? And we're like, what do we got to still be locked down? Like, god dang it, like, here we go, and you're still not allowed to have fun, and you can't go indoors to eat, and you can't, I mean, it was just ridiculous.
yeah.
I know I say that ridiculous as your soul and your wants and your needs to socialize. It was ridiculous. Keeping people safe is
It's very important, yeah, and I think that's like that. It's like that the dichotomy of it all, that we know, like that we have to wear a mask, we have to social distance, we have to stay at home as much as possible, depending on how the cases are developing in every state and every location. But at the same time, like the customs that we used to have really needs to come out, and you need the interaction, you need the touch of other people, you need the seeing other people. And in that regard, it's like a very conscious effort to
Mhm.
be able to keep yourself calm, keep yourself present in the time. So, and there's a word here. I, I'm I'm pulling up the translation. Resignation, it says in English, but I don't know if that applies to this. But it's like conformity, like even
Yeah.
though sometimes it's not great, but you have to conform yourself with the situation you have now, because we cannot fight it personally. I mean, it's not a fight we can do. It's not like the other things. Like if I push through enough, I can get out of this. It doesn't depend on us. And I think as a spiritual people, as witches, which always try to bend the arm of destiny and the bend the arm of the environment, and try to control, it can be
instead
very
of just
difficult.
instead
Yes,
of just
and
allow it to happen.
yes, yeah, and also that also made me very aware of what I was trying to do with my practice back then, because I was using my practice not much to connect with myself or to connect with the spirituality or to connect with the universe. I was using it more to get my way, which it sounds like more severe than it is, but I mean, it
Yeah.
was too focused on, and goals, and tangible things. And that's also what I realized that I wouldn't say misusing, but I was, you know, I lost the scope. I lost the real aim of my practice, which was connection
You felt
and with
the unbalance.
myself.
It
Yeah,
shifted. It just went.
yeah, yeah. Like it was like I lost like a little bit of the balance, and when I started, it was everything was to knowing better myself and to improve my life, because
Mhm.
I being always very disconnected. It was very easy for me to disconnect with for like my spiritual being, for my earthly being is very easy for me to disconnect it. So
Right.
it was like a time of me for to connect those two worlds and living more in the moment,
Mhm.
and meaning, like living actually my life and not living all the time constantly anxious about the future and stuff like that. And after a while, I came back in the same path, and trying to achieve things and stuff like that. So I think also that's why it was really detrimental to me at the end, because I was like using the excuse of a spirituality to maintain the same patterns.
Yeah.
And that's something that you don't realize at the moment, because of course you don't have a bad intent, but or bad intentions. But then when you look back, it's like, oh yeah, of course, like I was cheating myself. I was, I
Right.
was not being actually sincere.
I think we always focus the time, and it's important for us to find our center and get back on track. So
Yeah,
it's
I
nice
think
to
it's
hear
very hard.
people. It's nice to hear people, be able to understand that's what's happened
Yeah. And
because
yeah, just and you know what, it's pretty amazing to watch somebody like yourself knowing who you used to be and knowing how sassy you are, knowing how sassy you are, and still be like, look, this is what's happening, and you're like, put your pride away, and you're just allowing the universe to give you what you need right now. And I think that that's really, really important. It's a process of healing. What you were talking about kind of reminds me of like trying on clothes that are no longer in style. You know how our the styles change throughout generations, and it's like you're still going back over here thinking, well, it fits me, I can still wear it, but is this really what's going to be accepted? Is this what I really need? Or are you at a crossroads or a path or a time in your path where your practice is changing? And so you don't want to, what are you doing? Are you, get away, get, get
You're
away.
distracting the people.
Over there. Sure. But it's like we sometimes force ourselves, into these slots where we think, well, that's where I want to be and that's what I want to do. But sometimes the universe tells us, no, that's not okay for you to do. You're not ready for that, or you really need to be
Yeah,
focused over here. And to allow yourself to go with the flow is very scary shit. It's
yeah,
scary shit. I'm a black and white person. I like to be in control of certain things. And I certainly, because of past trauma, I don't, sometimes I'm stronger on some days and some days I'm not so strong. And there's certain things that you like are ready for. And there's certain things like, I want to be ready for that, but
yeah.
I'm not sure I'm going to do that today, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you in
Oh,
how
thank you.
you've come with some of that. I think that's pretty amazing. Um, it's kind of like an aha moment, like the light bulb bing, goes on.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's well, I think it's like it's comes, and I hope it keeps coming with maturity, and like with growing up and realizing, like be able to watch yourself from outside a little bit, like be able to like see yourself from another perspective and really evaluate what you're doing. Which can be very scary, because you don't necessarily want to evaluate yourself so deeply and so harshly.
Right.
And also, and
Yeah.
realize about balance, which is so important. And I think I use a term that is really speaking to me right now, because I was very far removed from that. That, for example, anything you are, or all your intentions you have to keep it in balance, because if not, it can be very, very detrimental for you. For example, I'm really overachieving, really perfectionist. I really like to um, achieve my goals in a certain way, in a certain time, and that can also give me the capacity to evaluate myself in a um, very detailed way. But
Hmm.
that can also easily become an obsession.
Yeah.
That So I think finding like your strengths, but also living your living your truth, or living with your strengths and your weaknesses, but in balance. I think that's also like a very good message. And it's also very hard, and I think a lot of comes with maturity. I would love to say, be able to talk to myself like when I was younger, and I know I would not listen, even to my future self. I know I would not listen, but if I could, I still would, and tell myself that, like, I mean, like, honey, relax. Like, it's not that serious. You will get what you want, but you don't have to stress so much, because that's not helping you.
Right.
And and that is the thing, because I know in 5 more years I would see myself now and say, oh my God, I've come such a long way, and I hope that's the case, because if not, like where's the growth, honey? But the thing is that but it's like I've realized that in my case at least, and maybe it's the case for all overachieving people, which is not a nice way to categorize yourself. It's, I would say, it's a neutral way to categorize yourself, but
Mhm.
it's a reality, because but when you're such a perfectionist and you really want to get things at a certain times, try to relax, because also it's not like, it's not a good look. Like,
It's
really,
not a good
it's not a good look. Like, everybody can see through that.
I
Everybody can
think
see through
yeah.
that. So, honey, you're making a fool of yourself. Stop doing it. No, joking. But actually, I just like talking to my past self. Like, I would tell him that, it's like, it's not like, you can just be you and enjoy life, and people will love you the same.
You don't have
And
to try so hard. You do not have to try
yeah,
so hard.
yeah, you
Yeah.
don't have to try. I feel like I was, since I was watching season 12 of Drag Race, I felt like so connected and identified with Jan,
Hmm.
robbed queen of the season. Well, one of the robbed queen of the seasons. um that because she was so overachieving and she was so excited and so like, honey, we get it, but tone it down, because like, you're not doing yourself a favor. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice with that attitude. And
Yeah.
I saw a lot of myself in that. So excited at the same time, but so pressure, and you can see the obsession behind the excitement eyes. So that's a thing.
No, that is a thing. I've recently put myself. I was having some trauma, and with all the COVID stuff, and still being in a customer service sort of industry, I was struggling because people were just mean, and I'm like, why am I so triggered by all this stuff? So I put myself back in counseling, and I learned that over functioning is a trauma response
Yeah.
to you not being or not being authentic or not being vulnerable or allowing yourself to be vulnerable so that you can take care of the things that you need to pay attention to. So we overfunction
Yeah,
and
so you
we
don't have to
all,
deal with stuff.
yep, it's
Yeah.
really easy to do, and that's another
Yeah.
thing that's very
Been
easy for
there.
me. Anger is just so easy for me. Like you and I touch on two like real things. I bet when we lose it, we're very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like an endless road, because it's like, I realized also that there's some things that I would probably always be fighting to, or
Yeah.
maybe always going through in my life, and that is fine,
Mhm.
because it's nice to be able to be growing in life, and it doesn't matter that somebody was born with that capacity and that enlightenment, because a lot of people like really don't have that issue, and that's great for them. Like, I love that for you. But
Right.
in my case, I really like to compare myself to where I was, and I'm and try to be happy for to how I come around, and
Right.
how I be able to like evolve. Yeah. Noah says, "How do you feel about the Gossip Girl reboot? Gossip Girl reboot? Are you going to watch it?" Okay, I have feelings.
Good. You give those feelings because I didn't like the first one because my kids were watching it. That's how old
Okay,
I am. So I was just like, who, like the guy that everybody liked, I think it was Chaz Chase. I can't remember his name. And
Chuck
I'm like,
Bass.
I don't know.
I
I'm
hated, no, I hated it. I hated him.
I'm
But I
when
mean,
he has
I watched the first Gossip Girl when it was running. I
Mhm.
was it was started in 2007, which was my first year of university. I was 17 or 18, so it was like about the same age, same age range of the protagonist. So it was uh, in age very close to me, in reality very far from me, like Manhattan elite, a small town in Chile. It's like, yeah, of course, same life. I mean, like,
Right.
Serena, same. I understand perfectly all your struggles.
Not
No,
really.
but yeah, but it was fun. It was like a fun escapism. It was also very aspirational. Because it was like, yeah, it would be so nice to be able to go. I don't know, go to New York, which when you live so far away, like, it's a lot more issue that if you
A
live
lot
in the
of-
States, or if you live, I don't know, if you live in Jersey. So,
Absolutely.
so I would love to go to New York, and like, I don't know, see all these places and maybe be able to buy a designer bag someday or something like that. And I watched the show again. It's shit. Like the show is garbage. Hot entertaining though, but hot entertaining garbage.
Yeah.
I for the reboot, I really like that the cast is way more diverse. It's not like all white pretty people. It's
Right.
just like very diverse pretty people. So it's a lot more current. I think a lot more Gen Z, inspired with more alternative looks and stuff like that, which I think is great. But I don't think I'm the target audience anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we change. We get out of this stuff, right?
So I think I would give it a chance, but the same with the Charmed reboot. That
Oh,
I don't. So
oh,
I don't think I'm the target. I don't think I'm the target audience anymore. So I would just doing myself a disservice watching the show because I'm just going to be a disappointment. And I don't look for shows aspirationals or to give me guidance or meaning anymore as I used to when I was younger.
hmm.
Because when you're younger, you look up to these people in those TV show or movies. And I think now that I feel like way more confident in my own skin and my life and stuff like that, I
Hmm.
just watch shows or TV shows for fun, just because they're fun and they entertain me and they give me a good laugh. And I really, really, I've come to appreciate a lot like the power of a good laugh. So, and in that sense, I will give it a chance, but I don't have many
I'm
expectations.
trying to look up. There's a show that it's like guilty pleasure of mine that I watch, and I'm thinking it's Dallas, but it may not be Dallas. I think it's Dallas, the new one that I watch. And I sent you a screenshot. I'm just like, oh my god, this is G. It looks just like you.
I mean, I hope so, but I don't think I look like him. But I'm watching Dynasty too, like hot,
Dynasty.
hot
It's
garbage,
Dynasty. It's
hot, hot.
Dynasty.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Dynasty.
you look like the guy who married the son,
Yeah,
Steven.
the Venezuelan actor. Um, I don't know. I follow him on Instagram, but I don't know his name. He's so hot. I wish I looked. I
You
wish I
look
looked
like
like him. I
no, you
wish.
look like him. I sent you a screenshot. I'm just like, hey, what you
I
doing
mean,
on TV?
I mean, like the bootleg version of him,
The
but
bootleg.
the store brand version of him. But yeah. Yeah, but I really like Dynasty also. Like it's hot, hot garbage. Like no plot line. Like it doesn't. Like what is the plot? Doesn't matter.
It
I'm
doesn't
just.
matter. You
I'm
just
just.
tune in. You're
Yeah,
really good to see what they're wearing.
yeah. I'm just here to see Fallon beach out and wear designer outfits and be fabulous. I don't want anything else.
You hashtag Team Fallon for
Mm,
sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
She's
I'm glad
amazing.
we like the same show. That show's amazing. Bad but amazing.
Yes, okay. Okay, all right. We got another question. Rowan says, what do you guys think is the most interesting thing about nature or is the most beautiful? That's a rough one. Rowan, how you gonna hit up two, witchy poos and be like, what's your favorite part of nature? Oh,
Yeah, I think it's a very broad question, but the first thing that comes to mind is spring. Like the concept of spring.
ooh, yeah.
I since I've okay. I'm
Oh,
going into a I'm going
hi.
to a tangent, but I will go. You can see the cat? Oh no,
No,
no.
I said Crimson Fire's here.
Oh, hi, Crimson. Yeah, so I'm going to a tangent now, but I will go back to the question.
Yes.
I realized that when we talked about depression and stuff like that, there's a lot of like darkness that usually like can come in your life, crawling. It's like darkness is like your first actual boyfriend sometimes. You know, it's like it's like it's like your actual real love because he always comes back to you. He always comes
Very
drunk
faithful.
drunk calling you at night. He calls you bitch.
Yep. If
He's
you
awful
do
for you, but you always come back to him.
that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah, so in that sense I would say darkness as a concept and as a psychological concept, it always like creeps on me more in winter. I'm a very photophilic person, is if you want. So uh, spring always has been like a place of comfort for me. Like even like the smell of spring, this like
Mm,
like I think even the air smells different when you have to see this bright sun after seeing it like so far away in winter, which it
mm,
doesn't warm you up. It's not really bright, and when spring comes out, you see this bright sun. Like I always feel like everything can be great again. It's always like a new beginning. And
mm,
you start seeing the flowers and start seeing like all the bugs and the animals like running around again. So I think like the concept of spring as our like renewal, rebirth, is something that I really connect with. I really like it.
mhm, mhm. No, I agree. I love the seasons. I love the season. You know what? Now that I'm not in Texas anymore, I can say this. So maybe the best part of nature for me is the actual changing of the seasons because now I am living for distinct seasons. And although I like two of the seasons more than I like the others, um, I mean, my name is Raven Flower. I have a garden. I love to get out there and do that kind of stuff. It's just energetically wonderful and peaceful for
Mm.
me. But I just like being in each season as it comes. It just makes me feel really, really good. Other than that, elementally wise, I like the water. I like a lot of water. I'm very deep
Yeah,
with my emotions and I'm okay with that. So I'm like, water.
I always felt myself like I was a very like water drawn person, but I think well now I live in an 18th floor. 18th. Yeah, I live in like a 25-story building, and I live in the 18th floor. So
Mm.
I'm very disconnected from Earth itself. I have plants, but it's like really a pot of plants is not the same as a landfill,
Yeah, yeah.
and or as grass. So but I really, really feel very connected with Earth and water.
Mhm.
Um, I'm insanely disconnected with air. With air, like I don't know why. Like it's like, hmm, and it's like
You
meh.
don't have time for that crap because
Yeah,
you don't have
maybe
time for that crap. I have
maybe
two
that's
kids.
why.
I have two kids that are element air, and I'm just like here on the phone with them. It's like I love them, and you have to keep telling yourself, I love them, I love them. Don't forget, don't
Like
don't
I
forget.
love them, but I don't really like them that much.
It's like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm like, here we are again. We're gonna talk about this again. It's like, come on, air sign, get a grip. Like, get a
Yeah,
grip.
yeah, yeah. I
Like,
really like. I'm more like an earth and water person. I would say is what I connect the most to. And fire, I think I don't connect the most to fire because I think I am a fiery person inside, like most of the time.
mhm.
So it's not good for me to. It gets very wild, very
Yeah.
quickly.
It's
So I think, yeah.
I can't trust my face. I can't trust the tone of my voice, my face. I can't
Oh
I
my
will
God,
get
it's
like
awful.
bitchy and bitchy real quick with an air sign. I'm just like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
oh it's just like
Yeah,
oh
I work in the corporate world right now, so that's a thing for me. Like I have to control myself and have a corporate behavior that is very important, almost more important than your actual skills. So, and thank God I'm at home, because if something like is pissing me out, it's like, oh, I don't have a good connection. I mean, turn out the camera, because
exactly. Yeah,
it's
oh,
way
so
easier.
I will turn off that camera real quick in these Zoom meetings. I'll turn off that camera because I can't control this. I'll be like,
Yeah, I mean,
just
like
here. And I'm already texting my friend on the other side. And I'm just like, this bitch. Can you hear what the hell is going on? Like, I'm doing it. I am one
same.
of those people. I'm just like,
Yeah,
no.
same. Yeah. This is very bad because we're not. I do this exactly the same thing because we're not present in the actual meeting,
Yeah.
processing that bullshit, because you have to process the bullshit eventually. But we are like also like venting on the side, like releasing that pressure because we cannot take the bullshit. And it's like, well, that's life, honey. You know.
That is life. But you know what? In the corporate field, people would just come to my office and like unleash after the meeting. They're just, so if they weren't doing it on the side, they knew I was the person to come and complain to. Like, we'll meet in the hall. We'll go for a salad. We'll we'll do those things. We're really going to French to have cocktails and talk shit about what we just went through.
Yeah. But
I
that's some. I miss that. I miss like the angry lunches or the angry happy hours after work. Oh my God. I it's going to put me in a very bad light. But I really miss, to like, because nothing much really happened when you're far away. But I really miss like to be in a position where something happens, something mundane, nothing,
yeah.
nothing, uh, but something mundane happen, and you just go and have a couple of drinks and bitch about it, and be
Yes,
a real bitch about it. It's like, and then
yes.
you look at yourself, it's like, oh, I think I went too far, but it's like, okay, whatever. I just did it. I released all this accumulated anger that I have. Oh my God. I need some meditation, as you can see all.
You have to get it out, and there's a lot of people that are just like, well, you're allowing your emotions to get away with you or whatever. It's just like, honestly, this is a part of processing, and there's certain people go about it in different ways, and if you cannot process it with your coworkers who are going through it with you, then there is no safe space. Otherwise,
Y-
you're going to bring it back home to this one, and he's not
Yeah.
having it. He's like
No,
done. He's
he's innocent. And
yeah, he's like,
also,
I don't
like,
care
I
what
mean,
this
you cannot
person.
ask people to be who they are not. Okay,
True.
that grammar was awful, but I mean, you can ask me to like control myself in a corporate environment and act correctly, but then you cannot ask me to not feel a certain way or to not bitch about it then with my friends or with my closest coworkers, because like you're asking me not to feel something, and that is very hard. Over time you learn to let go of things, easier sometime, and not grasp and onto things that are not productive to you, but that's a process. And in the process, I mean, you judge me for how I behave myself in front of you. If then I go back home and bitch about it, it's like, well, you cannot control my behavior even at home. I let
Mhm.
Karen, let me live.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Judging is one of, okay, people are just like, well, you should not judge. And I'm like, well, guess what? I'm not a Christian. And let me also say to you that judging is like the most instinctual thing that a
Yeah.
human being is going to do. So to say, don't judge, don't be a judgy bitch or any other stuff, it is part of our instinctual nature to size somebody up, to judge them whether or not we fit in that structure. Are we going to be friends? Is that an enemy? Oh, I like what they're wearing. All that other stuff that is totally natural for us to judge. Now, should we do it in a more constructive manner? Yeah, probably. But we wouldn't be watching,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
Yeah. I
watching.
mean,
We wouldn't love Fallon as much as we love Fallon.
yeah, and the thing is, like, sometimes even though you are in a path that you want to be less judgmental, you when you realize that you don't have to judge, you already did the judgment of somebody in your
Mm-hmm.
head, and maybe you didn't said it, you didn't put it in the world, but you did it anyway. And for me, in my life, that actually counts, because you're fighting a behavior that you don't like about yourself. And sometimes it's very hard to put the line when you don't want to judge people beforehand and being unfair, because you don't know all the reality. And
Yeah.
when you actually can have an opinion what somebody is doing, because it's so easy to go all Mahatma Gandhi, and be like, oh, I'm not judging anybody, and then people are going over there being real bitches, affecting what you do and affecting your job or affecting your environment. And then so it's very important to like, it's like there's no universal mandate, it's like you don't have to judge. It's like, well, yeah, maybe I don't have to be a bitch and judge things that really have nothing to do with me.
Right.
That's fine. But if somebody affects me, or something that somebody does affect me, I have the the right, or I'm entitled to react.
Yeah.
Let's hope that the reaction is as balanced as possible, as not as crazy as maybe I am feeling it right now. And I hope to be able to come across like eloquent and respectful, but you cannot also be like, I mean, nobody's going to put the boundaries for you. That's the
No.
thing.
No.
So it's like a balance, like not be a real bitch, but also nobody's going to put a statue of you in the center square, of your city, because you are so good and you never judged anybody.
I'll tell you. Okay, so coming out of this great big huge meeting, like one of the last big projects that I had to work with a team. Oh God, kill me. um Kill me at work. God dang it, I hate it. It's the worst. It's the worst. But anyhow, there's all this stuff that's flying by. There's all these meetings that we have to go to, and my boss pulls me in, and it's just like, come sit down, tell me how the meeting went. And then my coworker Tina, who's in the office next to me, comes in as well because she was also at the meeting. And so my boss is asking us how we like the meeting, and Tina's giving all of the like wonderful, sweet, kind, adorable, like little answers. And then my boss turns to me and she's just like, so you guys were at separate meetings or something? I said, oh no, we were at the same one. She's like, well, I see it all over your face. What happened? I said, well, so here's what happened.
You're like,
what
well,
well, let me just take it out. Like, and so is full of shit. And this one here is just acting busy so that they can collect a paycheck and blah, blah, blah. And I am just like saying it. And I'm just like, it's really going to be me, 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 me. And I'm going to do this. And we're going to have 12 different meetings so that somebody can just like, collect money and not get anything done. Do you really want it done by such and such time? And they're like, yeah. I said, take that person off this project. Take them off. And I'm like, I'm that person. I'm like, I'm coming for you, like legit.
I'm looking forward working with you. That would be so nice. No, but I think it's fair. No, but I think it's fair. Like of course, only knows what. Sorry, only oneself knows what is happening at those moments. And I think the least you can do is try to be as honest as the situation allows you. And yeah, so I think and of course, like, there's a lot, because I think when people say don't judge, don't do this, don't do that, don't be a huge bitch, we start with the supposition, yeah, where we start with the supposition that everybody is nice and everybody is lovely, nobody wants to harm you and nobody wants to do you wrong, and you are the
corporate world, not in the corporate world,
not anywhere. It's like and it's like where you are the only one with the bad feelings or with the incorrect feelings, and that's not the case. The world, like it or not, is a very, very hostile place. The work environment, the streets are a very hostile place a lot of time. When you're driving, when you're in the supermarket, and you have to constantly put your boundaries to people. And there's people that is very good at accepting boundaries, but there's people that are not good at accepting other people's boundaries because that's just who they are. They're in their own path. And so that makes very difficult to live through these like commandments that are like, don't do this, don't do that. It's like, yeah, but I will put yourself in this situation. What would you have done, in that moment? Not like now thinking about it and being able to process it. Like in the moment, spontaneously, what would have been your reaction? And sometimes your reaction is not as good.
Not as good. Yeah. I would say, I'm like, I didn't say it to their face. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't actually throat punch somebody. I'm like, I wanted to, but I didn't. And my boss was just like, oh my God. This is what, get out of my office. I'm going back to go do the work because I'm going to be the only one doing it. Here I go.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, I understand.
A bit of clarity. We were talking about, people are just like, I wish there was more humanity in the world. And you were talking about what humanity actually is. Hey, I know you're texting in the chat over here.
we have one viewer. It's him.
Right behind me. You were talking about, humanity, what really humanity is. People are thinking that it's a good thing. Humanity is not a good thing.
Not really. Humans.
Can I forgive myself for 1 second?
Sure.
But I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you, and I can talk. So I just will not be on camera, but we can talk.
Yeah, humans just aren't really as humane as people like to think they are. We want to put that face on the word humanity.
Well, I think that's because we've been told to. So for so long, people have been shoving us in a ditch.
Right. Humans are not their own self.
Yeah, I think because I don't know how it is in English, but the word humanity in Spanish, it means like, of course, like the adjective of something that is from the humans or to the humans, but also is like about kindness, like when people say be humane, it's like they're telling you be kind, be nice, be empathetic. But when you go out and like it is funny because I follow a lot of people on Instagram, which is my only social media. And if you go out and see all these, like, I don't know, like spiritual gurus, which are just like pretty girls or pretty boys dressed in
Mhm.
white,
Mhm.
and making a lot of money of spirituality, which is fine. I mean, you do you. But I do not agree with that line of business. There's
Right.
like, yeah, be humane, be charitable, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that would be great if the world was what you're saying it is. And it's so easy to say, uh, everything, like the only thing you can manage is how you react to things. Yes, there's some truth in that, but
Right.
also uh, that's coming from the privilege that you now in the middle of a pandemic are in a retreat in Thailand, and I am here working my ass off, without all this time to reflect on what people are doing around me, and worried about bills and worried about many things and worried about my parents and blah, blah, blah. So it's very easy for you to be like, um fake, I would like to say fake spiritual or fart spiritual, which is like just like the whiff of spirituality, where it's not like real spirituality because you're not, yeah, because
No,
you're
the
not
truth is
connected with real
humanity
life.
stinks.
Yeah, humanity stinks. There's your whiff.
Yeah, yeah, people sucks. I mean, we suck sometimes. I've sucked so many times. I've behaved awful in the last, in all my life. But if we want to even like narrow it out in the last years or maybe in the last months, there's moments in my life that I've behaved awful with people around me, people that I
Mhm.
love, people that I care about. So let's not even talk about the people that I don't love. But that's point of being a very flawed human. And that's
Mhm.
also a thing that happened to me with, when I was in my more active spiritual path, that I was less aware of my flaws, because I was aware of my flaws, but I felt like I was doing such a good working towards
Mhm.
improvement, that at some point I felt like the work towards improvement was enough, not the improvement itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, got you. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
so
see
now
that.
it's like, for example, I don't know, you want to go on a diet. It's like, well, I'm eating lettuce today, but you don't do any exercise because you're lazy, which is my life. And it's like, yeah, but like eating lettuce all day is not going to do enough for you. It's not
Mhm.
going to be
Mhm.
healthy. So you have to not just go into the path, but you have to commit to it and start to actually change your way of behavior. The way you behave, the way you treat other people.
Mhm.
So I think that also, like,
It's a
there was a
lifestyle. It's a
yeah,
lifestyle. It's not just a
yeah, yeah,
hmm
it's not a habit, and also it can, depending on who you are. And I don't want to talk about anybody else's experience because I don't know it, but in my case it came to a lot of spiritual ego. So yeah, so and that, like, yeah, like, so and that's not good, like spiritual ego is not good at all, because even though you don't want to accept it or recognize it in front of other people, it's
right.
very easy to say we're all the same, we're all in a path. But when you are in the moment that you know in yourself that you are maybe in a better place than other people in that sense, that can
Mhm.
get in a very, you can get very egotistical, and that's not nice, because that's also like that cuts your improvement right away. Like everything you're achieved, like it goes through the
It
window.
I'm okay. So I do this a lot with my sister, and my sister, because she has a degree and she has a thing, or whatever, she feels that she has more to offer, in her opinion. Or I'm like, well, okay, I'm college educated, but I do not have a degree. However, I've lived a lot of life, so therefore I have wisdom where she doesn't have wisdom, and she doesn't see that as a difference in intelligence. And I'm
Yeah.
like, look, I said, there are things that there's a difference between book smart and those that are wise that have, lived it on the street.
Oh,
It's
completely different. Yeah, there's like a different competence, different realms of competence that,
exactly.
I mean, I've studied my whole life,
Mhm.
so, and I do not doubt of my capacity to do things in my workplace. of course in my reach. I know there's
Mhm.
also like a lot of things you can also improve and do in that sense.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in life, or in the ways to see life, for example, my boyfriend, well, he went to university, he's a professional designer, but he has like a way of seeing things, like so calmly and
Yeah,
so balanced and so like, yeah, like, I mean, like, but that does that really matter? And I'm like, yeah, it matters, it's so important. It is not, it really is not. Like, like you didn't find your favorite cigarettes in the store, or you didn't find your favorite chips. It's like it doesn't really matter. It's like, no, because it matters, because I had the plan that I had to have this today. I'm taking it to the ridicule, but I mean,
right.
sometimes I feel like that, that I get caught in so stupidity of myself, um, because I'm so demanding with myself, and no matter how much I've studied, help me get out of that self-destructive loop.
Ooh,
And he that doesn't, he studied, of course, but his work is more related with the arts and stuff like that.
okay.
He has way more a connection with actually what can he feel it's important in the moment and what is not, and what you
Got
just have to let it go because it's really useless.
it.
So
Yeah.
I agree completely. Like, wise and knowledgeable is very different, and there's different rounds of competences you have to
Ooh,
have and
ooh,
achieve,
okay.
and you cannot fake wiseness.
No,
You cannot fake experience. That's the thing. You cannot fake experience anywhere
okay.
in your job, in your life. You cannot face fake whatever you have been through to get there. And
True.
I think that's part of growing too. That's when we see behind, see back, watch back. When we like look back, when we look
Mhm.
back, that was the expression. When we look back to our old selves and we see that, um what was I thinking, or why was I behaving that way? It's like, yeah, because you don't have the experience and you were doing the best you could do at the moment. And I
Yeah,
think that's I mean, the only thing we can do in any point in life is really being aware that we are doing the best we can do at this given moment. And if you know that you're not doing your best, well, try to do it. But at least if you did your best, and if your best was really shitty, because sometimes our best is really shitty and it's not enough. And
because that's all
at
we
least,
could give at that moment.
yeah,
That's all
yes,
we
at least you
could
tried, and also that also release a lot of pressure to other people that
give.
sometimes in their interactions with you, did it they giving their best was also very shitty for you, you know
Right.
so that comes to parents, to ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, sons, whatever, because it's so easy to say, "Oh, I would love you to have acted this way
Yeah.
at that given time," But maybe they were doing their best, and yeah, maybe that was not enough for me, but
Right.
at least they tried. And sometimes we also are very shitty in our best, so I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
but I think that experience, or that living experience, gave you also more empathy than even working actively empathy.
Yes. Ooh, gee. Good stuff. Good stuff, G. You're all wise with your cigarette. All wise.
I mean, I'm wise, but I have not learned to stay away from lung cancer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well,
but
no, you have not. But you kind of remind me of that caterpillar on the toadstool. I feel like Alice right now. It's like, who
yeah,
are you?
But you should do it with a cigar or a pipe.
Oh, a pipe, a big pipe.
yeah. Well, I started smoking again because I quit before,
Yeah.
quitted, quote,
Quit,
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 quit.
quit.
I quit, and I since that we have this issue with our pet here at home, I was like, okay,
Okay.
breaks for everything. So it's like I'm smoking again. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
Yes.
Okay, we did an hour and 40 minutes because I knew it was
Yes.
gonna be easy to talk to you.
Yeah.
I knew
I
it
can
was
never shut up. I'm sorry, guys. I don't
so
know who is here. I don't know who was here. Actually, I completely blindsided. I'm like doing a television show where I don't see the
well, there,
interactions.
there was the snow, Crimson Fire. Mark Kipper is here. Rowan, of course. There's been a bear who is in the chat, but also behind me.
We have to keep those numbers up. That's
I know.
great.
Jennifer Ball is here. Let's see. There's a whole let's see, Jennifer Knighton is here. There's a ton of people. There's a ton of people here. And they've been coming in and they've been going out. And then this is going to upload onto my YouTube channel. And so people can rewatch it. And then you're going to get a lot of comments through there as well. So you can come back.
Thank you very much for the invitation. And well, thank you to everybody who like interacted and everything. I really, really miss all you guys. You know, that can sound very insincere because, as I told you before, I'm awful reaching out to people, but I really, really cherish all the calls we did, the conversations we had, you know, with you, with Rowan, with Elder, well, Belladonna, with Noah, with Miguel, which is also MIA, being like a fabulous hairstylist.
Well, he is not MIA. In fact, he just rebooked with me. He is going to be on the 26th, I believe. The 26th, Miguel. And
Great,
I asked
I
him,
will be there.
what's your witchy name? I said, do I just call you Miguel the Marvelous? And he's like, no, I'll figure something out.
I will create a persona in less than a month. I'm sure he's capable of. Yeah. So, but if you want to keep in touch with me, you can find me on my Instagram. It's the only social media I have and I use. I have a Facebook page, but I don't even have the app in the phone.
I have to track you down through Instagram. It's you and Belladonna. I can't get you guys on Instagram to save my life. So to Facebook on to save my life. So I always go to Insta. I'm like, okay, they're got to be there.
Yeah. So you can follow me there. So well, that's it. Thank you very much.
I don't think I've seen you in 2 or 3 years. I miss your face. Stay in touch.
Thank you.
The last time I had G on my channel was when I was getting those Taste the World things, and I got the box from Chile.
He was telling you all about the
goodies. He was telling me about all the things that are in this box, and it was kind of
it was remember.
Just a fun.
Yeah, that was a good box. When we opened the borders, because the borders are closed here.
Yeah.
I will send you a box. I promise.
Of stuff. Fancy stuff.
So the post is even closed?
I mean, I would say stuff. I would not say fancy stuff. A box.
No. You can't
it's
even
fancy
mail.
To me.
You can't mail apparently.
No, all borders are closed, so no. I think some mail can come that were like already in the I don't know what to call it, like where the mail arrives.
Oh, okay.
Where they how do you call it when they charge you sometimes money for your mail? What is that called?
Toll.
A fine, a fee.
Let me look it up.
The tax. They tax
in customs, yeah. So mail that are in customs, you can you can go through, but I think all the mail is getting retained in the airport for like 15 days or something, and we cannot mail anything. And of course, all the importations and everything is for the month of April are all stopped. So let's see how the prices are going to go here, because with no importations, everything gets so expensive.
We should send them a box of limes.
Send you a box of limes. I don't know.
That way they'll be rotten by the time they get there.
Yeah, no. And also, Chile is very strict with plants and living things, so you cannot send any living things. Even you cannot, for example, sometimes you can bring plants or things from other countries, or things made of wood. You know, we cannot enter wood or any handcrafts with natural materials here in the country. But that's always.
It's the same thing with Australia. And I've got a package we've got to send out to Belladonna, and I'm like, when are we going to lift these restrictions? Because I don't know. Like when we can actually get them out. It's crazy, but yeah, the list is long for Australia as well. So you're probably the same thing. So prepackaged goodies for you.
Yes, of course, I will send prepackaged goodies for you, like maybe a box of treats, Chilean sweets or something of that sort.
Cookies.
And this one, this one with his cookies. I'll make you cookies, man. Chill.
I will send you my favorite cookies.
He has Brazilian cookies.
No, he has.
I know that. I said that on purpose.
Because we were messing with you. We were messing with you for years. I'm just like, so how are things in Brazil? He's like, I don't live in Brazil.
I don't know how they are. It's a disrespect for me. That's why I don't come very, very frequently to these channels.
Oh my God. Well, it has been a pleasure. It has been an absolute pleasure. And Noah had said something in the chat that I brought up on the screen. I don't know if you know this, but this is an open call. We're doing a witchy meet and greet in New Orleans on Saturday, February 25th, 2023, because
Yeah.
we got
23.
23.
Yeah, that is possible. I have money now, so that's great.
Well, and then, so we're doing the meet and greet on that Saturday, and then Sunday, there's a bunch of us that were in this chat that are jumping on a cruise ship for a 7-day cruise.
Love that. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm terrified of cruise ships.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Don't worry.
terrified. I've watched too many times like Poseidon in those type of movies.
These are other
So
people that did that before, and then they got the travel bug, and then they were like, oh, we want
yeah,
to be on cruises. Yeah.
that
So
would
like
be great.
Tequila and her husband were scared to death, and now they love it.
You can do it.
And Noah, I think Noah was a little terrified there for a while, and then he was fine. And then now, so yeah, so that's a thing that we're planning. I will send you the link,
Yeah.
but it's on Facebook.
No, I can download the app. My page is alive. I don't just never use it.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll send you the link through Instagram and see if you'll get it. But
Go to Facebook and download Facebook, and then click in the link. And yeah, of course, don't worry, it'll be fine.
well,
Yeah, thank you very much.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah,
It's to see you.
it's been lovely.
Many blessings to you guys. And tomorrow, yes, on Easter, because we're witches, we don't celebrate Easter. Anyhow, tomorrow I have Jenny Love on at noon Pacific Standard Time. So I hope you guys will all join us then.
There's your Easter egg.
There's your Easter egg.
The puns, I cannot. Okay, bye.
Oh my God.
Yeah, have a nice night, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.